Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Dinesan.
I'm Tushinka.
So recently guys, Tushinka and I sat the HSK3 examination here in China. And just a week ago, we got our results and we both passed.
Nice. So we thought of sharing with you guys our experience for this exam. So in this video guys, we're going to be talking about a few major points. So firstly, what is the HSK exam? The format of the exam, the resources that we use for this exam to study and pass, and then also how to register for the HSK exam, and also finally a little bit of an insight as to like what the exam center was like here in Guangzhou. So we're gonna let you know all these points in this video. So guys, HSK firstly stands for Hanyu Shui Ping Kaoshi. Okay, so it's actually Chinese Mandarin level exam. Shui Ping, yes, Mandarin level exam. So basically, to HSK, there's actually 6 levels, guys. We set the 3rd level, which is like a moderate level of understanding of Chinese, of Mandarin in specific.
So HSK3 is actually based on 600 words, guys.
So there's a particular set of 600 words that you're tested on, and in this, you're tested on in how many, in what ways did they say?
Yeah, so there are 3 ways to test on, guys. So we've got the listening section that you start off with, and then you have the reading section, and then the 3rd section is the writing section.
Yes, that's right. And so guys, for the listening section, how many questions are there, Mason?
Is there 40?
Yes, 40 questions. So there's 40 questions, and then for reading we have 30 questions, and for writing we have 10 questions.
Exactly.
So that comes up to 80 questions, right?
Yeah.
But guys, each section is extrapolated to 100 marks.
Exactly.
So the 40 questions for listening is then made extrapolated to 100, and then the 30 questions for reading is extrapolated to 100, and also the 10 for writing extrapolated to 100. So your score is actually out of 300.
300 indeed, yeah. So now, initially when we saw the format, we saw that it's 40, 30 and 10. We thought that the more the questions, the more importance was given to it, that section. And we sort of heavily studied and prepared for like listening and reading, which is good.
Yes.
But then the realization came like, wait a minute, those 10 questions are going to be extrapolated to 100 marks, which means each question weighs more marks. So if you make a mistake there, you're losing more marks. So then we started changing it up and sort of focusing more on the writing section as well.
Exactly.
But yeah, so keep that in mind.
Exactly. Just because more questions, it actually just gives you more room for error, actually, I would say. But when you have less questions in these sections, more room for error, so best to focus on as well on writing.
Exactly. So for this examination, guys, we use 4 books as our resource for us to study and prepare for this examination. So the first one that we got was this tiny little pink book, which is called Vocabulary HSK. Okay, so basically what it has is it has the 600 words, the Chinese words that you need to know
for the exam.
For the exam.
So basically, guys, it says like from level 1 to 3, because HSK 1, 2, and 3's words are all in here, because that's what you're tested on in HSK 3. So like HSK 1 has 100 words, and then HSK 2 and 3 have...
No, I think HSK 2 has 200.
Oh, has 200.
And HSK 3 has 300. So in total for HSK 3, you need to know all 600 that you did before.
Exactly, and it's broken down according to section. So guys, basically the format of this book is it goes in alphabetical order, okay? And firstly, it will show the character, then the pinyin, then the meaning of the words, and also the word used in sentences, like the use of the word in sentence as well. So that's the basic format, and then you have all 600 words in here. So it's easy, a little pocket book. You can take it with you wherever you want, and just quickly open it up and be like, I learned a new word, just like that.
I think this book, guys, we used the ones we're going to talk about later, we used like more than this one, but
that's
this one
because,
we found
we're quite familiar with characters, that's why. But if you're not so familiar with your basics,
and also to know the 600 just in case
you don't miss out anything, there's some
it's
words,
like a checklist, I would say.
Yeah.
Use it as a checklist to quickly just know the 600 words. Of course the exams, the preparation for the exam, you need to it's not just knowing or memorizing these 600 words, it's also knowing them, how to use them, how to how are they used in sentences?
Yes, what it would mean in a sentence, because each character, there's so many of the same characters here, but they have different meanings. So,
Exactly.
you know, like the same character can have many meanings. So it's about knowing how to use them.
I mean, if you're really good at your Chinese, then you can just use this and it should be enough.
Yes.
Like you just know what the word that you have to know is.
Yes.
But if you don't, then and also use these next resources that I
Yes.
want to show you. Then comes these guys. Okay.
So we
Spread them out.
let's spread them out.
So there are 3 books here, guys. Okay. So we got them as a set.
So this is actually from the HSK. How do I say this? They're actually the HSK exam is run through the Confucius headquarters, Confucius Institute headquarters. So they actually print these books.
Okay.
So as you can see right here, Confucius Institute
yes,
headquarters.
yeah.
So it's done by them. So this is what they recommend to actually sit to
preparation.
prepare for the exam.
And guys, like we cannot stress enough how good
Oh
these
my
books
god,
were,
they were
because
so helpful.
we did these books we completed these books, and like we just felt that the exam was actually much easier
Oh,
than how
yes.
these books were.
Because the
content.
standard of this is like a lot harder than when we
The
went
actual
for the
exam.
exam. Like, oh, we felt like, oh, it was a bit easier,
Yeah.
you know?
So let us tell you about these books, guys. So there are 3 books here. Okay.
Yes.
So we'll first start off with
Let's.
I think it's the course book.
Yes.
Okay, so this one, guys, is a standard course book. So basically, it has 20 chapters. Okay, there's 20 chapters.
So each chapter, guys, has a set of words that it focuses on. So a set of HSK 3 words. So they'll basically teach you the meaning, how to use those words in a sentence,
They'll give a few passages that has those words.
and then like get familiar with like the images, like kind of make it like the text in the test format.
Yeah.
They'll have pictures with the words, so like to match it.
Exactly.
And then it also associates with grammars with these words on how to use
They
these
teach you
words.
the sentence structures that you need to know for the exam.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing. So let's just show like an example to them. We'll have like, these, it's kind of like the exam format, of like just associating pictures with words, because that's one of the first things that we do in the listening part of the
Yeah.
exam.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. And then over here is like a reading section.
Yeah.
So getting used to seeing these new characters in a text format, and trying to understand the meaning of the text of this passage. So they'll have that, and then they have the pinyin for you as well, just in case you didn't recognize the character or how to say it. They'll have the pinyin here. We go into the grammar section, which is very important, guys, because it's very important for reading. Actually, I would say for all 3 sections, it's important.
Yeah,
Just like
Just knowing.
knowing, like, so it goes through important grammar points.
Yeah.
And after that, you have some exercises here.
Yeah.
on
Like
the left.
small exercises.
Small exercises, just to be familiar with the new words, the
Yeah.
new sentence structures again. And I think it's very thorough, guys. Like, these 20 chapters will cover exactly what you need for the exam.
And I would say, guys, when going through this book, ideally, like how we prepared for it was, we'll do these exercises in the front, and then when it comes to the passage, we'll individually read it to ourselves to see if we can identify each and every character in it without the help of pinyin or the dictionary. Okay, and wherever we felt like we didn't know this particular character, quickly go search it up and then know the meaning of it, and then continue it.
Yes.
So because it really helps during the reading section when you keep reading characters, and when you're able to identify it quickly, it really helps. So
Yes.
practice by reading this without the
Without the help of
without the
the-
help. Yeah. So first memorize this and then close it up and then
read the
it
passage.
basically, yeah.
Yes.
And then sort of get into it. Following which, there are some few exercises which also we recommend you. I think after the grammar section, we also would recommend you to like complete these. These are like quite fun and
Yeah,
easy to do as
exactly.
well.
Because it's like
just to get used to the new words that
Yeah.
you're learning in this chapter.
Exactly.
And also about the grammar. So what me and Dushi did was, as we went from chapter to chapter, we noted down like these grammar points, like the important ones in the sentence structures. We noted them down in a separate book. Okay?
Yeah.
Because towards the exam time, we actually didn't want to look at this book.
Yeah,
We thought we'll
exactly.
get stressed. Okay, so we wanted like a small like cheat sheet
Yes.
that we can quickly look at if we wanted to refer to something.
Yes.
So basically, whatever grammar points that we thought was very important in the sentence structures, we wrote it down in a separate paper. So we would
Yeah.
recommend you that as well.
Exactly.
Because doing this 20 chapters throughout like the preparation time is good, But then when it comes to like maybe like 2 or 3 days before the exam,
You don't want to be going through
I
this.
didn't want to go through this book because I feel like I might have gotten a bit like daunted.
Just overwhelmed.
Overwhelming.
you
It'll be
know.
overwhelming for us. So
Yeah.
if you feel that same way, just have a separate cheat sheet that you can quickly go through.
Yes.
But yeah, so
Yeah, that's this. This is the standard course.
so this is the standard course book, guys.
Now
And
let's move on
then-
to the second book.
Which is the workbook.
Yes.
Okay, this is the best thing
Oh
that
my
could happen
God.
to you guys
Yes.
because it's full of practice questions.
Exactly.
Okay, practice papers.
Practice
So
papers.
basically, they have one practice paper for each chapter.
Yes.
But this practice paper, guys, is smaller than the actual exam.
Yes.
So
it's like a shortened version.
it's a shortened
of it.
version. So
Basic-
instead of like 40 questions and 30 and 10, you have 20
and 15. Yes, and 10.
yeah, you have 20, 15, and 10.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the format of these papers.
Exactly.
So for every chapter, they have one of these small papers, and then after all of it, you get one big paper.
Yes.
One full-size paper. Okay.
So guys, to do the listening part of this course book, what you have to do is actually just scan this QR code at the back,
With
just
your WeChat
with your
app.
WeChat app, and then basically it'll just give you the chapters from 1 to 20,
Yeah.
all the listening, so
All
you
the
can
recordings
just
of
all
it.
the recordings, and you just get to click and start doing the
It was
listening.
very easy, guys.
So
It was
easy.
very, very easy.
And I would say the listening in here is much harder.
Than the actual
Than
exam.
the actual exam.
Because one thing we felt, guys, so we practiced all of this, okay, and we listened to all the recordings for this book, and we went for the exam. And when we listened to
Yeah.
what they were saying, it was almost like they slowed it down
I know,
and
it
they were
felt
doing
like
it
they
in
were
slow mo.
talking. Yeah, it was like slow motion
Yeah,
talking, like
yeah.
you know. So that's why I would say this book is so good
Very
because
good
they
practice.
speak in a very natural speed
Yeah.
as well, and so
So if you're able to catch this,
then you can definitely catch the
definitely.
exam
And
once.
it's a good practice.
And it's the same kind of because it's done by the same Confucius Institute.
Yeah.
They use similar examples, guys.
Yeah.
Like so, the same lady with the phone.
I
Like
know.
it's like always like she's always there.
Yeah.
Okay, they'll always have one example.
Yeah.
So they use similar examples from this course book.
Yeah.
So you're familiar, with the workout, like the layout of the paper. You don't have to feel, nervous
Yeah.
when you're there.
Yeah. And then the last book, guys, the third book, which is very, very important, by the way. We
Yes.
didn't know this. We actually initially just got these two books, and then we were doing the exercises, and then finally we were like, okay, now how do we know if what we wrote was correct? Where are the answers? And we kept looking, we couldn't find the
And,
answers
and,
in
and
those
we
books.
couldn't just trust our own answers.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause we-
So then we realized that there's actually a teacher's book, guys. So there's a teacher's book, and this book has all the answers at the back.
Yes.
Okay. Like the first like I would say 90% of the book is basically like a
teaching on how to
Teach.
the
Yeah.
this book,
Yeah.
the standard course
Yeah,
book.
that's for the
on how to
teachers. Like
teach
it's
it.
fully in Chinese,
Yes.
but the back part of this book has all the answers for not the standard course book exercise, but for all the past papers,
Yes.
for all the practice question papers, the answers are here.
Yes.
So please get this.
And more than that, guys, even for listening, it has actually the conversations.
Yeah.
Like in the conversations are there.
The
So
conversations are there. So
because sometimes when we listen to this, the course book,
Yeah.
we then feel like, oh wait, but did I hear it correctly?
Correctly.
And then after we finish the paper, we go and check in here,
What
and the whole
exactly was
dialogue
said.
is there, so we can
Exactly.
check what was actually said, so that we
Yeah.
know what our mistake was.
yeah. Alright guys, so these books actually in total for all three of them we spent almost 100 RMB. I think the course book and the workbook was like 89 together, and this one was like another 20 or 30
Yeah.
RMB. Yeah. So together it cost us like 100 RMBs. And we just got one set
Yeah,
because
because-
we just shared it. Like,
Exactly.
we didn't write anything on the book.
We just wrote it
wrote
in
the answers on another book, so this is still fresh.
It's a solid resource, guys, to get through this exam.
Yeah.
Registering for this exam, it's very simple. Firstly, go to this website www.chinesetest.cn and then you create an account. After creating your account, it's very straightforward. You click on Test Registration and then on HSK Level 3 and proceed to register for the exam.
Alright guys, so after registration, always be aware that the exam center can call you up at any time.
Yeah.
Because so what happened to us was, so we registered for the exam, and then I think a week or two before the exam?
No, a week before.
The week before the exam?
They send you an email with like the exam center location
Yeah.
and your ticket number
Yeah.
and everything like
Yeah.
that.
And also for what happened to us was, initially they gave us one center when we registered for it, but there was a change in center. Okay, so they emailed us and they also called us up to make sure that we knew that the location of the center is changed.
Yeah.
So always be aware. Don't end up going to the wrong location.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
answer your phone or
Yeah.
check your emails
Check
as,
emails
as
as well.
well.
Yeah.
And then, so guys, after basically, so you get your confirmation email that which is sent to you a week before. So make sure to actually print that from the website itself.
Yeah.
So you have to print out your admission ticket,
Admission
right?
ticket, yeah.
So you just go to the website
You need to
and
bring a hard copy of the
hard
admission
copy,
ticket.
and you have to bring your passport as well.
Yeah.
And that was it, right?
That was basically it,
Yes.
yeah. Passport, admission ticket, and I mean, we didn't really need a pen or a pencil.
No, because
or
it's a computer-based
computer-based
base,
exam.
and they didn't say to bring it either. But if you want to make yourself feel better, just in case, bring a pen, pencil, and eraser
Eraser.
with you.
So apparently, guys, this actually used to be paper-based and computer-based exam, but
Now here is in Guangzhou.
in Guangzhou,
it's
we don't know
on-
about other cities,
yeah,
but
in
it's
Guang-
only computer-based.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Only computer-based, and so basically you have no option to do a paper-based exam. So for the computer-based exam, like if you're a little bit like worried of what it's like, let us tell you. So
Yeah.
basically, guys, we went like one hour early
Yeah.
before the exam.
Yeah.
We were just waiting around, and then 30 minutes
Yeah.
or 45 minutes before. 45 minutes before the exam, they told us to come into the exam room.
Yeah.
And so basically, you're not allowed to take your phones
Or
anything, or
smartwatches.
smartwatches, nothing. All that's kept inside, but in a separate area.
Yeah.
And then you go, they give you like a ticket number, and you go sit in front of your computer.
Yeah.
And your computer, there's like many computers
There's like 3 computers
per row.
per row.
And like it's all separated with like a like a screen.
Yeah.
All you have to do is like they'll tell you 30 minutes before the exam.
Yeah.
Basically, you'll get to enter your ticket number and your name.
Yeah.
Right. And
I think your name and
no, it's your
passport
ticket number and
Yeah.
your passport number, right?
or something.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like 2 items that you have to enter, and you log in, and it then shows is they ask to confirm if that is you.
Yeah, your
If-
personal details will come up on the
on
screen.
screen, and then you say if it is, then you
Yeah.
click, and then you wait for the exam to start. So basically, there's nothing for you to click. The exam will just automatically start for you.
Yeah. Basically, guys, one thing I didn't distinguish, so I thought that once the exam starts, that you will still be able to access all the different sections, but the exam goes section by section. Okay, so if it's a listening section, you will only be able to access the listening section questions. You won't be able to see what the
Next section.
the next 2 sections are. Okay. However, after you complete the listening section, and when you go on to the next section, let's say if you want to go back to the listening section and check your answers, that's possible.
Yes.
Okay, you can still go back to listening, but it's like you can go backwards, but you can't go
Go
forwards.
forwards, yeah.
Until the whole thing is done.
And like so basically they have a timer for each section.
Yeah.
So like for listening, I think it was like 45 minutes.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
1/2 hour to paper, guys.
Yeah.
So 45 minutes for listening.
Yeah.
And once that 45 minutes is done, that's all
Yeah.
like you have for listening. Like meaning the recording is done,
Yeah.
you know, and then you move on to the reading
section,
part.
yeah.
And for that reading as well, you have 30 minutes.
Yeah. Somewhere around
So
there.
35 minutes or
Yeah.
something, and then
And
I
whatever
remember-
balance is for the writing.
No, writing is 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
15 minutes,
Yeah.
you know. Especially for listening, like, it's quite slow, guys. It's not
Yeah.
rushed. They have, like, a lot of time for each question. And they repeat it twice as
Yeah.
well. So each question is repeated twice. And they give an example as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes 2 examples
Yeah.
for the question, for that, before the section, particular listening section starts. So even give 1 or 2 examples.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the fact that it's repeated twice is very helpful
Yeah.
as well. For I guess what we were most surprised by was actually in the writing section.
section.
Because like
So for those of you all who already has an idea about HSK, you would know that the writing section has 2 parts, 2 different types of questions.
Yes.
The first one is rearrange the sentence to the correct sentence structure.
Yes.
And the second one is identify the pinging, like they give you the pinging of a Chinese character, and you need to write the Chinese character for it.
Yes.
Okay.
So normally, if it was a written paper, you would just have to remember that that's the character.
Yeah.
Okay. But now when we thought, okay, computer-based exam, how
We
are
went in actually blank.
Yeah, we went in blank,
Yeah.
like thinking, okay, we don't know what's
We don't know
going on.
how they're going to conduct the last part,
Yes.
find the pinging, like write the pinging part, because there's no paper or pen involved. Yeah.
But then, so basically, what happened was you just had to. I also came to that section, and then I was thinking, okay, how do I answer here? So I put my hand up, and I asked for one of the invigilators to come over, and I asked, like, do we type here?
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh yes. And I'm like, oh, and then he just like, let me change it for you. So they changed my keyboard as well to the pinging keyboard,
Yeah.
and it's just like type the pinging,
Yeah.
and then choose the correct
Correct character. So yeah, I feel like it's a bit of a loophole, guys.
Yeah.
Like if you have a decent knowledge of Chinese, you were able to identify the characters by typing.
Yes, like
And
if you're familiar with this 600 words,
Yeah.
that it's going to be so easy.
And also another thing is that usually when you type the pinging, the first character that comes up
Yeah.
ends up being the actual
Like, that's the
character.
answer.
That's the
The
answer
answer.
because
That's-
it's like the more commonly used character or word, but. Don't
it's not
take that into
guaranteed. It's
account.
not
That's not guaranteed
guaranteed.
because there are some instances where it wouldn't be the first, second, or even third like on
Yes.
that list.
Yeah.
So make sure that's why. Like this one will really help you. Like if you can recognize characters and their pingings,
Yes.
then
That's
just
what-
type
yeah.
and you can look for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Center itself, like, it's, there's nothing to worry. Like, they say as well, like, if something happens to your computer, you just raise your hand and the time actually stops
Yeah.
at that, and they'll just reset it, and you'll go back in, and the
Yeah.
time will just continue from where it stops. So,
Whatever the issue, guys, just raise your hand, and they were actually very, very helpful.
Yes.
All the people who worked that day,
Yeah.
they were so helpful.
Helpful.
They spoke like amazing English.
yeah.
Okay, like
So
they
we
were
don't have to
so
worry
good. Yeah, so
about
you don't have to
that.
worry about a communication problem. And any issues you have, just raise your hand up, and we'll come and sort it out for you. Because I think we raised a couple of times,
Yeah.
Because there was also one point because when you're doing the listening part, I didn't know how to change the volume. Like, so then I raised up my hand and then they came and showed me how to do it as
Yeah.
well. So whatever issue you have during the exam, before the exam, or even after the exam, just ask them and they were so helpful.
Yes.
And also, guys, another thing to note is that in the past, when you wanted to do the HSK exam, especially like HSK 3, you are able to just do the HSK 3 exam by itself. Okay, and the fee for the exam is I think 300 RMB.
Yeah.
Okay, but from this year January, that is 2023 January, they brought in a rule that whoever is sitting for the HSK exam has to also sit for the HSKK exam.
Yeah,
Okay,
which is the code. HSKK stands for code, which means speaking.
it's a speaking exam.
Speaking
Okay,
exam.
so this will be a writing exam, like a listening, reading, writing exam, and then there's a speaking exam.
Yeah.
Alright guys, so that comes to the end of today's video, and
We hope that this video was helpful for you guys to learn about the HSK exam, what it's like, how to register, and if you had any doubts, I hope it answered it. But if not, guys, feel free to comment down below
Yeah.
any questions that you have, and we'll be more than willing to answer those.
so HSK exams in Guangzhou especially happens once every month, guys. Usually around 15, 16, like
Yeah,
the middle
around
of the
the
month.
second week to
Second
third
week of the month. Alright guys, so if you really enjoyed this type of content from us, please like, share and subscribe to our channel, guys. And until next time, guys,